Hello. Okay. So, how are you?
Fine. How about you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How about you? It's
Things
so,
are fine here.
yeah, it's so nice meeting you. As I already told you that I'm from Radio Nepal.
Yes.
It's a national radio of Nepal. So, uh, I'm very glad to have you for the message in the World Radio Day from Radio Nepal. So, may I proceed?
Sure. You can proceed.
So, my first questions to you is how can the theme radio and peace help to produce appropriate results in the different situation and environments? Why this slogan, this theme has been selected?
Thank you very much for this question. We all know that radio has been around for over a century.
Mhm,
And we know also that radio is one of the most trusted media worldwide. And throughout the years, radio has provided the fastest access to information in a real-time manner.
mhm,
And also, it has brought to light
mhm,
matters of public interest.
mhm,
It was also used during COVID for distance education or
mhm,
other purposes.
mhm,
We know that radio today offers a variety of content
mhm,
through various devices and formats. This
mhm,
includes podcasts, this
mhm,
includes multimedia websites,
mhm,
and therefore we can see the gap being
mhm,
bridged between traditional radio and
mhm,
cutting edge technologies of today.
mhm,
This year, as you said, the theme is radio and peace. And this reminds us all that radio is a critical pillar for
mhm,
conflict prevention, hopefully also for conflict resolution and peace building. This is
mhm,
especially true
mhm,
when radio stations are free of political and commercial influence,
mhm,
when they address root causes and triggers of conflict,
mhm,
and also when they promote
mhm,
democratic debate, including through interactions, dialogue with their audience.
mhm,
In this context, it is, of course, very important to
mhm,
have editorial independence
mhm,
because it demonstrates the ability of radio stations to
mhm,
deliver news that are free of political, ideological, or commercial influences.
mhm,
But also, it's important to recognize that despite the rise of social media and
mhm,
other modern internet based communication technologies,
mhm,
radio is still an extremely popular source of information across the world.
mhm,
Let me here mention a statistic from a recent study that UNESCO has carried out in 23 sub Saharan African countries.
mhm,
What we have as a result that almost 6 in 10 respondents to our survey
mhm,
said that national radio is the most important medium and quite often the most trusted
mhm,
medium.
mhm,
Therefore, we know that radio programs are inexpensive to produce and broadcast compared to TV programs or other video based.
mhm,
They should also be included in peace strategies,
mhm,
and they should be actively supported by governments, investors, donors, but
mhm,
also intergovernmental organizations such as UNESCO.
mhm. As you mentioned that radio is very important to disseminate the information in a very cost-effective manner as well, and it is very important because it can reach to the millions of people at once. So, what do you think? What types of radio programs should be there to address such situation, to address the to resolve the conflict, interstate conflict or internal conflict? What types of radio programs will be very effective? Is it some drama or some radio documentary or whatever? What do you think?
I think, first of all, fundamentally, in today's fast paced digital age,
Mhm,
it's very important that media professionals, including radio professionals, adhere to ethical journalism standards.
mhm,
This is very, very important.
mhm,
Now, to your question about contributing to conflict prevention and peace building, I think radio must continue to base its journalism on verifiable, fact checked information before they can share it with their audiences and with the public. This is very, very important. It is also very important from a content point of view that radio stations hold power to account and help society build a better future for all. Therefore, professional radio stations can moderate conflicts and tensions, can prevent escalation, and facilitate reconciliation and reconstruction through relevant programs, independent news gathering as well, in an objective, professional, ethical manner. Conflict-sensitive radio practices and solutions journalism are also important for increasing knowledge and enhancing understanding of the issues at hand among population. It is part of the agenda setting function of radios and their provision of essential services to bring forward issues of concern to society at large. In this context, radio programs should feature matters that merit the attention from authorities and citizens. They should also bring to light the roots and triggers of a conflict. And finally, I would say that radio is an important player to build and maintain peace in various parts of the world, in various regions as well.
So, as you already mentioned that there is some challenges as well from the social media or new media because there are some many problems of misinformations and other things. So, how can independent radio can contribute to this direction? What do you think?
This is a very important matter. It affects all of us worldwide. The rise, as you said, of digital platforms, the increasing use by everybody, especially youth, of social media, where we see part of the information there is rather, as you said, false content, misinformation, disinformation. Sometimes it's even worse than that. It's hate speech, it's a speech of violence, of extremism, it's online harassment, it's cyberbullying. So we see this as not only a public hazard, we see it as a public harm happening through social media. And of course, we need to combat that. And UNESCO is very active on this matter. UNESCO is holding next month, February 21st to 23rd, a global conference to come up with regulatory guidelines for digital platforms to ensure freedom of speech online, but also to ensure that information is a common public good and that information does not become a public hazard nor a public harm. So I would say that there is one fact here that I should mention. Today, we realize with the increasing use of social media, there has been an increasing loss of advertising revenues to traditional news media, because we know that more than 50%, I think it's about actually 2/3 of advertising interviews today moved from traditional media to the social media and to the digital platforms. As a consequence of this, there is a big issue of the economic viability of traditional media going forward. But also we have been seeing, because of this decline in advertising revenues to traditional media, we have been seeing a rise of the cost to verify information, to fact check data by traditional radio outlets. Therefore, it is very important in our view to invest in fact checking. It's very important to support investigative journalism as well as rigorous source and content verification, which should be obviously the practice of radio broadcasters in order to combat the issue you raised, the issue of misinformation and disinformation. It is also, this is from a supply point of view, but there is also an issue from the demand, from the usage point of view. Listeners, audiences need to become more and more media and information literate. We need to develop a critical mindset when they come across information. Before they use and then consume content, they need to, we say, to click wisely, to think critically. And this is very important also that we, through the various programs that UNESCO has developed recently, the aim is to make also the users, the consumers, media and information literate.
Mhm. Dr. Tawfik, please tell us about the ways in which UNESCO supports radio development sustainability globally. What are the plans do you have for the development of the radios worldwide?
UNESCO has been very much emphasizing the importance of supporting radio stations through capacity building to enhance professionalism, to also help put in place or develop adequate legislation and regulation to assist traditional media outlets in their digital transition or digital transformation in today's digital age, but also obviously to see how we can assist in terms of the financial and economic viability of traditional media while safeguarding editorial independence. These are some of our goals, of our objectives underpinning the various programs, initiatives that UNESCO has been working on. More specifically, I should say that highlighting independent radio as a pillar for conflict prevention and peace building, back to the theme of this year's World Radio Day. We believe that independent radio stations must be regarded as an essential component of peace and stability. And we should, in this context, support both the training of duty bearers in radio-related issues and also the training of grassroots radio broadcasters. I can assure you that UNESCO has been and will continue to be a strong supporter of media pluralism. In this regard, we focused on promoting community radios as a valuable complement to public service and public service and commercial radios. We believe that community radio stations are not for profit. They are owned by community members with programming very much based on community access and participation in broadcasting. This type of radio reflects the unique interests and needs of its listeners, who are frequently voiceless members of society, sometimes even marginalized populations, and hard to reach rural groups or language minorities. The fact that community radios focus on local needs does not imply that radio programs will be of lower quality than those produced by mainstream media. They are high quality, competitive programs that represent community concerns, which are often overlooked by mainstream media. These community radios cut through the lack of diversity in editorial content that can occur when radio frequencies are monopolized or oligopolized. Here, since the 1980s, UNESCO has assisted countries in ensuring the legal recognition and the respect of community radio, as well as providing with the legal framework that allows community radios to reach their full potential. To conclude, one of our most important missions at UNESCO is to promote the free flow of ideas by word and image. And we do so through supporting community radios, among others.
Okay. Dr. Tawfik, you just highlighted the importance of editorial independence of radio. When it comes to the government radio, then it's not all the time possible to maintain it, or even if you say some commercial radio, they might have their commercial interest, and it's not very possible to have a completely independent editorial policy. So I want to know from you that what can be the solution for the government radio? Can they be converted or transformed from the government to public service broadcasting that can be more independent? What do you think?
I think that's one very strong idea, definitely. Public service broadcasters play a key role. We have seen it in a number of countries. They are very much respected. They are trusted by their audiences. When I talk about editorial independence, it's at the end of the day a matter of trust. What is your primary source of news? What is your primary source of information? People go to that media outlet that they can trust. And therefore, when we talk about public interest broadcasting, I think that's definitely a key way to ensure winning the trust and keeping the trust of an audience. And of course, you can only do that if that public interest broadcaster has the objective journalism, has the editorial independence, has the objectivity, neutrality in the way they select their content.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Tawfik. We are very glad to have you at Radio Nepal. So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to obviously bring the UNESCO voice to your audience.
Yeah.
And I wish you all, including the listeners, a happy World Radio Day 2023.
Thank you.